Have you ever heard this? If you have, listen.
It's good to have you, man. Thanks for coming through, brother.
Happy to be here.
So, Dave Scher, our guest today. What is it, 67?
This is 67 today. Yeah, number 67 of the
That's
CKC.
the AC. Just don't mind that. It'll
I
stop
wasn't
us.
looking. I thought he was taking a drink of Slurpee.
No, I was taking a bong rip, you know.
What is, we like to have fun here.
Right.
67. So I was gonna ask you, how did you start playing guitar, bro? Is your dad a musician?
My dad played guitar, and he taught me the first 3 frets.
Okay.
You know, the
How old?
cowboy chords and stuff. I was 10. Well, he started teaching me at like 9. On my 10th birthday, I got a small electric guitar.
He's a guitar player too, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. Yeah,
And he works the Guitar Center.
Yeah, I'm the evil side.
Wait,
do
which
talk
one
about
are
his
you?
day
You
job.
can't be both.
Yeah, I sold my soul to selling beer.
Dude,
That's all right.
that's great. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, he showed me the cowboy chords. I was
What are the
9.
cowboy chords?
Oh, C, G, A minor, D.
Open chords sometimes referred to. Yeah.
The dreaded F.
yeah.
This is like the chords the Cowboys would play on the prairie.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're lazy chords, but they're great chords.
Yeah. No
And-
inversions, just
No,
yeah.
no. Although my dad was the first person that taught me an easy way to play F, which was instead of barring, you how to wrap my thumb around the neck and use my thumb as a fretting finger. And I noticed that watching Hendrix, but it never applied until he was like, well, you could do this.
One thing that a guitarist told me that was way far along than I am with open chords was learning to play them with your middle ring and pinky rather than using your index. That way, if you needed to play it, like a C shape on like the 5th fret, you already had the muscle memory from just playing
Right.
it open.
Right.
Which just blew my mind because I was like, that's so hard, but if I learn it that way, then it opens up the whole fretboard.
That's how I first learned E. And then now I play an E like some other teacher taught me to not use my pinky. But I first learned it like you would a bar chord without the bar.
Yes.
So you just do that and then you move up, use your finger or your thumb, in my case.
It's all those little things that when you're just starting make it so much easier down the line.
And that's my thing, is making sure that it's easy.
yes.
Did you pick guitar? Was this something that was foisted upon you by your dad?
Oh, no. No. I picked
You
it.
wanted to play.
I started on piano,
Okay.
and that was not forced either. But, I mean, it was something you did in a 90s family as the kids took piano lessons.
Dude,
And I
smells
took
like
piano
teen
lessons.
spirit, bro.
Yeah. And I was an all right piano student, but when I just kind of became familiar with what guitar was, particularly electric guitar, I just didn't have an interest in it anymore, especially when I got one and started practicing,
Dude.
which was 10 years old, so 30 years.
And
It just recently became 30 years.
bro, you're 40.
I am.
Same. This dude's a fucking baby over here, bro.
Yeah, I'm 24.
That's fine.
You know, I had a lot of fun when I was 24.
I did too.
It was a good year.
I think.
Dude, I think.
That's how you know that you did. is
I
you're not
mean,
certain.
yeah. So, and you are originally from here, from Austin?
Yeah.
Dude, that's a rarity. So you've been around like all of it for your life then.
The change.
I mean-
I watched everyone move here.
Yeah. And like, so how do you feel? Because I mean,
It's fine.
there's always pros and cons, right?
Sure.
So
But that's like my most recent update of how I feel, which is it's fine.
yeah,
Because I already got to experience being disappointed with the way things were going. Give me back my town. And,
Yeah.
and then it got real techie. And then after a while, you just go, it's fine. Because you're not going to make any difference. Me.
Yeah.
We're just not going to make it. And that's not completely true. It's just I'm tired.
yeah. Well,
know.
but it's also like to keep the spirit of this city is intact. I mean, because guys like you understand the lineage that came to the point, you know, to where
Right.
we are now. And like, I say this about cats that are like coming up, and it's like, this is why Kai and I do well together, because he has an appreciation for those that came before. Not all younger cats
No,
have
not
those
all do.
appreciation.
That's cool that you do. Not all do, and
Yeah.
that gives hope.
Yeah.
My thinking is, you know, the road wouldn't be here if someone else hadn't paved it, right?
Right. That's very true. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you started out, and you what was your first gig here in Austin? Like, how long have you been playing professionally?
My first professional gig was Mozart's Coffee Roasters on Lake Austin Boulevard.
Yeah.
And I'd bring my own PA. That's where I learned how to run a PA. And I played solo. And I don't know last names, but I would play after. There'd be 2 acts. And I'd play after this brilliant classical guitarist named Carl. And I knew his last name at one point. But he would bring his own PA. And then he'd tear it down. And then I'd set up my own PA and start.
Bro.
I know.
That's so crazy.
And that was my first gig. There was one time where I did load in a PA and I did my own gig there. This was like years into playing Mozart's via boat. And that was fun. I took a friend's boat to Mozart's to go play.
Yeah. See, the nice thing about guitar too, bro, is that like, if you're a guitarist, you can book a solo gig and you can just play acoustically if you want. Like, as a drummer, I can't. I mean, I could, but
Got to get real creative.
it'd be like not ideal, you know? Yeah, but like, that's the nice thing for like, and then you just work your way through, you know, because, bro, you're playing all over the place now, dog. I mean, like, did your KT episode come out yet? Or not yet? Is it
Did my what?
your Kill Tony episode? Is it the one you sat in on?
The most recent one?
Did it come out?
It must have. I think I got a message from some old Berkeley friends going, "Hey, you sounded great on KT."
Okay, so I was
I
like,
guess
I
so.
wasn't sure if it came out yet or not, dude. So like that, and then
Playing, not
Yeah.
trying a minute. Just want to make that clear. But that's probably been like my 9th or 10th time of something for Matt.
Okay,
I've done it a
I
few
didn't realize
times.
you had.
I did it a few times at Vulcan,
So you're like probably like the first call. Usually, a lot of the time, I would think then. If
somewhere
he's-
between there and the 7th call. Yeah, I don't know. There's been a few.
Well, and it's like when you go into that environment though, like you're familiar with all those dudes, you know, so
Yeah.
it's easier because you're like, you know, you've played with them before. It's nothing new,
Right.
You know, you can kind of. But
Yeah, and I've been in a situation where you're playing like stingers at the end of a joke, you know,
Yeah.
and you're doing the Paul Schaefer bit,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So I'm familiar with that concept. It's done differently and more modern on KT.
Yeah.
And I mean, I dig it. I feel fortunate that they call me for that. It's a fun gig.
it can be, I'm sure, a little cringeworthy too. at
Oh yeah,
moments.
that's the point of that show, is
Yeah.
to be cringeworthy, and I don't know how into cringe I would be, but I have definitely playfully thought of the idea of trying a minute
Yeah.
on that show, and I got to say, anyone that does, whether it goes poorly or well, that's got to be the bravest
It's-
thing to
but-
do. So I commend.
Okay, I'll say this, and because I have.
Cody did.
Yeah.
Because I have.
KT, yeah.
This whole podcast is here because of that.
Right. And I just want to say that takes an insane amount of guts.
And it's this
I
is
commend
what
you for that.
It's bravery, but it's also you have to the mindset. It's not the same typical. I mean, I'm not saying that stand-up comedy in general is not a friendly. It's like it can be very much a struggle. Let's
Oh,
say
yeah.
with the audience, right?
Yeah.
But like that show particularly, they want to see you fail. They're hoping. So you have to almost go out with that mentality of like, fuck you. I know you want to see me fail. So fuck you. I'm
Right.
it's almost that, and I wouldn't normally have that level of like combativeness,
Right.
Going into a show, but you almost have to because that's what they want. Like they're not going to feel bad if I fail. So why should I feel bad for being like having that? And I'm not maybe
Right.
like deliberately attacking a crowd, but just
Right.
have that level of energy about it. Because
yeah.
that's the only way I feel like you can go in and, it's the same thing with the subreddit.
Yeah.
I posted stuff in there, and when I talk shit in the post, like it gets better reaction.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh yeah, talk to me like, yeah, that's how I like to be talked to. Like, all right, y'all fucking sick fucks.
So people are into that. That's I mean that's why KT does so well, is because people fail and on that show, and it's like extremely in and trendy to point the finger and or to hate or to point out people's flaws. It always has been, and for some reason I think these days it's just an all-time high as far as trendy.
It's a mix too of like social media and the fact that like the dogpiling mentality of just like we're all deciding as a group that this person's great or this person sucks.
Right.
And there's not really like, oh, well, you didn't like him, I liked him, whatever. You
No,
know,
there's
everyone-
no one's thinking for themselves. It's very lemming like. You know, it's like
And-
lemmings. just
And 1
following
minute
one
doesn't
another.
tell you anything, dude.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, it really doesn't. Because I've seen cats, dude, that go up at mics before where, there's a guy that's been doing it for years and he just bombs. You know, maybe he's trying new shit. Maybe it's just not his day, whatever. And then see some other dude a few months in, happens to be a good writer, go up and fucking crush, and you're like, what does this mean? Does this mean that both of these are equally yoked in terms of like the act they may have for comedy? Like, no, this cat, he just started.
Yeah.
But it's like, it does like 1 minute, 60 seconds is not enough to like really determine. And the problem is that like if it's like once that 60 seconds is up, if you didn't do well, they're not going to help you. They're not going to throw you any underhand softball pitches to let you get back in the game. They're going to pile on.
And part of that does come from the fact that they're trying to, like the panel and Tony and Red Band, like they're trying to make it entertaining for the crowd, like any entertainer should be doing.
Right.
Like,
well, also, and then in the weird way that if you can deal with this, then wait.
Yeah.
That's why like nothing. I'm not afraid of anything, dude. Because I'm like, as far as like comedically, it's like I've already lived my worst comedic nightmare. I can't. There's nothing that could be worse than what already has happened. So I'm like, at that point, you go out and you have that mentality of like, because it is hard when you're like, I feel like I know what I did wrong, and I could have probably gotten the crowd back if I'd had enough time to do it. But like, I only had a minute, so like,
I know what you mean.
you know what I mean? Like, I don't
Yeah.
have enough time to win their trust again.
Right.
In that time, it's not gonna happen.
But they also just liked the fact that you did not win their trust.
Yeah.
And they're hoping that you continue to not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's very in to hate. And hate is a strong word, but it is very in.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's like in that realm, it's,
Yeah.
it's crazy how popular that show is, bro.
There are these art forms, comedy, music, dance, visual, theater. And I think something like music, people will watch, or I was going to say people will listen, but really they'll watch a show.
Watch.
Yeah, and
He will learn.
they will. I don't feel like people are watching a show. A lot of people are watching a show the same way that they would go to an art gallery and look at a beautiful painting that they know it makes them feel a certain way, but they do know that they are not a painter and they can't really have much of an opinion on it. Whereas music, it's so digestible and it seems like anybody could do it, especially singing. So
See, it's interesting
you
you
know?
say that because
and
I've
then comedy
actually
is there's no forgiveness. Comedy is like everybody's like I know that that's good or I know that that's bad.
right. It's interesting because I've said this before where I was like, with comedy, for some reason, people think doing it at a high level when they see it, they go, oh, I could do that.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I see you doing what you do at a high level. There's never a thought in my mind like I could do that. Never ever do I like. I see what you do and I go, that's amazing. I could never do that. That's why I have like this mad respect for it, right? And I think great comedians are equally probably on that level of amazing. But for some reason,
agree.
because it's the spoken word, maybe, and it doesn't require literal, instrument to play. That all of a sudden that means that like, oh, I could do that, and it's like
the skill that's required is not as apparent as music. Because
Yeah.
you
Right.
see that, you see like, oh, the hours and hours of practice, rather than something like stand-up that's meant to be delivered and portrayed as something that looks easy and comfortable, when in reality it's like very hard.
The physical technique of comedy is speaking.
Yes.
It's what everyone does. And the physical technique of playing an instrument is something that not everyone does.
right.
So it's quite a bit more far-fetched to folks, but I still see it in so many shows that I'll play, where people have already developed an opinion, and maybe it's warranted, maybe it's not, maybe it's an educated opinion. Most likely, it's not. I don't know. That's a bit dark, but or not fair, rather, of me to say. But that's what I get.
It's interesting to hear you talk about how people enjoy different mediums and like the mindset they're in, especially with where you're at as a guitar player, because you're a guitar player, but you're also playing with Eric Johnson, somebody whose fans are likely also musicians and guitar players. So they are listening to it and watching you on stage from a guitarist perspective or a musician's perspective, rather than, someone that you might see at like a, Madonna concert that's there because it's like, I love Madonna and like I enjoy going out to, pop show sort of thing.
I love what she is, what product she is, what brand.
I like the word that you use there, product.
Yeah, I meant to say brand. But,
let's say,
Apples and oranges.
Tomato. No, yeah, she is though. She's a product. I was going to say too, I don't think a lot of people know, Bill Hicks had opened for Eric Johnson back in the day, and not a lot of people know that.
I think I knew this.
Dude.
I think one of the TMs told me that.
Bro, I don't think it went too well. But if you know Bill Hicks' act.
Yeah.
But that's the thing about Bill. It's crazy is because I look at Bill Hicks. I mean, he's the reason I do comedy. Like,
really?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Like, because I had, I grew up in like, same as you, like 90s, like premium blend, like Comedy Central. Like the first real special I remember watching more than once is like, oh, I want to watch this. Is Dane Cook actually back in like 98. And it was like, he was raw as fuck. He was actually, this was before he blew up. He was just like, he was comedians knew him, but he was just super raw. And you were like, he was funny, like fucking funny. And like, I had seen different comedy, Carlin even, but it was like with Hicks, something about him where, I don't know, it just felt like he kind of tapped me from like somewhere else and was like, hey, go do this. And it was like, I felt empowered in a way where previously, because I always like to make people laugh, I was like always a joker kid growing up, and like the hook got set in high school. I hosted the spring show for the dance team and the cheerleaders and all that. Yeah. And we had to write jokes and stuff. And I remember just that first joke where you get that, this is like an auditorium and you're like, just like, and it's always trying to chase that.
Like your first joke that landed?
That was my idea. That was original. It wasn't me, saying a movie line or, somebody else. It was like, oh, I came up with this idea. And it was like, because it was like a group of the dance team, they did a dance routine, one of the things, and it was like a slow motion routine, the whole routine. And so after the curtain closed or whatever, we come back out and I'm like, give it up for, and everybody started laughing. And it was like, that was slow motion. And I'd be like, that was my idea. And to get that laugh, you're like, oh man.
It was euphoric.
It was euphoric.
Yeah.
It was euphoric. Because that's the payoff,
Yeah,
when you're a musician, the payoff may be the noise, but it also may be silence because you want people really locked in and tuned in. And it's like certain moments, like you played that ballad with Jennifer a couple weeks ago when D Watts left the gig. Oh my man, I love that. A previous guest, I loved him on the podcast. He's one of the favorite guests we've had. But the way he left, I don't think I told you this. He left the gig. It was the funniest shit I've ever seen. I mean, literally, last note, he was out of like everything packed out the door in like 30 seconds. And before the crowd's even like, encore, encore. And then Jennifer's like, oh, I guess we'll do this ballad. And then like it's featuring this guy. And it was, like I told you, it was fantastic. Thank you. Yeah, but it was hilarious. It was just so, boom.
I've known D Watts for a real long time, and I've seen him many a time play a show with his backpack on, ready to go. Most of the time, there's this, there's a wash ending. A lot of times a band will do a wash ending, like some people will call it a trash can ending, where there's no more groove, there's no more time, and there's a wash in the cymbals, just. And usually it'll end with some kind of bow.
Yeah.
And then a little ripple, like a vroom. As soon as that ripple happens, he's got 2 cymbals unscrewed, and one of them is in his hand and just about in the bag, and the other one is still ringing.
Oh my god, dude! It was so hilarious, dude.
That's
it was
his thing.
just, it was like boom, 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 and it was. And then they're like encore. We're like, okay, well, there's no drummer now, so
Yeah, right.
it's like, oh shit, kind of limited here. What we could do, but honestly, though, I guess last night was the last night of the residency for her, wasn't it?
For the Seaboys
For the
residency.
Seaboys one,
And we ended
I'm sure
on
she'll
a-
be back, but
Yeah, I hope
hopefully,
so. It's such
I
a
thought
cool
she did.
vibe.
I thought she did fantastic too. Like she was getting great.
We ended on that. We ended on an encore that was drumless.
Was
Same
Watts
thing.
there last night?
No, it was Chico, but he didn't pack up at the last beat like Watts does, but it just sometimes works. You know, she used to do a residency at Seaboys with no drums,
Yeah.
and it just had a different feel. It had so much color, and the groove was there, but it was.
Was
obviously
there
different
anything
instruments.
percussive in the mix at all? Tambourines?
No,
or
Roy sometimes
like,
would play
auxiliary
tambourine.
percussion.
Yeah, sometimes Roy would have a tambourine, if not always. But my right hand, you know, and I'm trying to make
Well, I see-
emulate a snare
I
kind of
see
sound.
guitarists do that sometimes too, where they're
Mm-hmm.
and they like create the percussion on the guitar itself.
And
yeah.
it works really well on an acoustic.
It does. You're right. You're right.
And on a solid body electric, it's the only thing you have is the strings.
How often do you have an acoustic in your hand?
Used to be very often, like at Mozart's.
Yeah.
You know, I not too often anymore, but every now and then. I mean, you know what? On a show, not too often.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one on a stand in my living room all the time,
Right.
and a lot of times it's off that stand and in my lap.
That's like mine. I'm like, I always have these laying around somewhere in my apartment. You know, just because I'm like, if I want to pick it up and just move my hands, you know, I
Yeah.
could just move my hands a little bit. Yeah.
And in my opinion, one of the best things to practice with sticks on is the sofa
yeah.
or a pillow. You know, there's no
No rebound.
rebound, and sometimes every now and then you hit a pillow and you're like, ooh, I need to put a mic on that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's some, I forgot which one, but there's some Fleetwood Mac hit. There's just no snare on it. It's just like,
Really?
I think it's a pillow or maybe a sofa pillow or something. It just happened to have a lot of fat ham sandwich kind of, you know,
I was just
doof to
thinking
it.
about them, Roy and Spice, because we were singing, had like a little afters at their place,
Yeah.
and it was a Fleetwood Mac, and I was like, I want to do this with them, the chain.
Yeah.
Listen to the wind blow.
Oh, gorgeous.
Watch dude, and then like just the harmonies of that song, dude, they're so great. Fleetwood
It's
Mac's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. One of the greatest American songwriting groups just ever, really.
Sure.
Yeah.
So,
Who were your
yeah.
biggest guitarist? Like growing up, like who were you trying to emulate when you were coming up? I mean, obviously you don't anymore. You hopefully I'm sure you did grow out of it. But
In
it's
a
like
way.
there's ways that
But I still listen to them.
right. I feel
mean-
like your influences become an amalgamation of the artist that you are, like from all
Right.
these different things that you take. You know.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the first band I was obsessed with was before I even played guitar, and that was the Eagles. And
I hate the.
I know everyone does.
Dude,
No, I know.
I love the Eagles,
I
bro.
know it's
I
a
do.
line. What is it? Big Lebowski? Is
Yeah.
that what that is?
Yeah. There's a beverage here, man.
No, I love the Eagles. I mean, that was like the more upper middle class Skinnerd.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it was the well behaved Skinnerd.
Yeah, and I think like Hotel California, I mean, is one of the greatest
Oh, yeah.
songs.
There's
Like-
so many, and that one is that's just beautiful. It's one of the most iconic guitar solos. That's for sure.
Bro,
oh yeah.
the dueling.
If not the
yeah.
most iconic, you know. I'd
Oh,
put
yeah.
it up like it's that and Freebird probably.
Exactly.
Dude, because like I could literally sing that whole solo like through like vocally.
I
'cause
think
I know
everyone
it
can.
so well.
I think
Yeah.
everyone can, and that's what you want. That's what
Yeah.
I try and do. Yeah. We all know
Dude.
how it goes, you know, because of how much it resonated. And I've always tried to make something like that happen in every opportunity that I have to improvise.
Yeah.
I try and develop something off
Yeah.
of a theme or a motif, you know.
Yeah.
And try to make my solos be singable, you know.
Yeah.
And
I was just talking.
EJ said that
yeah.
we had like EJ, that young guitar player. EJ, you know EJ?
Yeah.
He's
Elijah?
like at Houston Tillotson
Yeah.
still. I love
Oh,
it.
yeah.
I love him, dude.
every
he's
time
my
I
bro.
see him, sometimes I'll play with the homies,
Yeah.
and every time I see him, I try and make sure that he comes over and takes my axe and
Yeah,
plays for a bit because he's such a great player.
bro.
And
yeah,
I need
he
a
said the same
break.
thing. He would sing his solos a little bit, like before he played them, he's like singing them, and then he's kind of transcribing that thing he's singing
Right.
onto the guitar itself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's brilliant.
Like when you improvise, like where. It's almost like where do you go? But it's like it's almost like you don't go anywhere in a way when you're improvising because you're kind of just trying to get out of your own way. I would think, right?
Right.
With it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You want to try and get out of your own way because, and the first thing, in my opinion, the first thing you want to do with that is to know and understand that no one's listening. Even if they are, you need to know that they're not, because if you know, if you think that they are,
Yeah.
then you start getting self-conscious and thinking, well, the next phrase that comes out has to matter to someone.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It has to matter to you, and it has to, I mean, not even that. It really just has to come out and be honest. That's it. And when I improvise, if it's time to be like fast and like wheedly, then that's probably because it's for the audience. It's not necessarily, I'm not going to try and tell a story, or create some sort of.
It's like a crowd pleaser type thing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
because the tip jar is a bit empty. I don't know, like it's a fun trick, but that's not what I'm going for when I have the opportunity
Yeah.
to improvise in a setting where I want to,
Yeah.
I have a bit of a guitarist hot take on that, soloing and improvising. I think Prince's solos are a bit overrated. Yeah. I know this is.
That's fine.
I think if you look at the cumulative of him, though, he's one of the most impressive musicians.
Oh, 100%,
Music
yeah.
music mind. Because
Guys, you're saying his guitar solos.
his solos, like when you
I mean,
think
that's like
of-
wasn't the
yeah.
the strongest tool in his bag. That was like
But for how much they're revered as like the greatest live performance of all time, like Super Bowl, like amazing, sure. But to me, like you were saying about like telling a story and like having like a bit more dynamic to it, it just doesn't quite have that for me.
Well, he was also a businessman.
Yes.
And he could be lyrical with his guitar soloing. And he
which is
probably
honestly probably how it sticks. How you write a sticky.
sometimes, but I mean, yeah, most of the time I would say so. But then again, is that the route you're gonna take when you're playing the halftime show,
Right.
or are you gonna please?
Yeah.
That's not all he does. He's not when he did the halftime show. He's not just trying to please. He's being honest, but you got to make a show out of it too.
Right.
And not everything you have to make a show out of. But he was a showman.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of that. That's what I like about his soloing. It's like he very clearly has a good sense of putting energy and like adding like that showmanship to
Right.
it. But from like a guitar player's perspective and knowing like other solos that exist, improvised or not, it's like it doesn't really stand out to me.
Right.
And I know I'm going to get a lot of
And the
comments for
greatest
that.
the greatest
fine.
solo isn't the one that plays the most notes. I'm gonna be honest. I mean,
Right,
like,
yeah. That's not what I'm arguing.
Yeah. I
No,
mean,
it's not.
because you can there's certain guitars players around town. Roach is one that I see who he doesn't have to do anything super duper crazy, but god damn, he plays everything. He plays with flavor on it, dude. It's just
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's got that pizzazz that
Austin?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And there's other. He's not the only one, but there's just one that comes to mind where I'm like, maybe not as much of a tactician as a Muling, who's just a fucking, just
Machine.
machine.
Yeah.
He is. And so much like insane respect because you're just in awe when you watch him. But you can watch other guys that do maybe not as much with it, but are doing really like clever and original type things that are not, because that's what I think it is like, your voice as a guitar player has to come out some way in the way you solo, right? I mean, like it's like, what is it that you do that's different from others that's going to be heard here?
Well, that's where my influences come from. You know, when the Eagles were my first band, the first guitar player that I was
Joe Walsh, baby.
Yeah, right.
Dude,
but
Funk 49 is a great tune.
He's the most rock star guitar player there ever was.
Yeah, I mean, he's
Joe
the one that
Walsh.
was breaking fucking throwing televisions into wall or out windows.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Doing the rock star shit.
Yeah.
And what fucking song is that? The Joe Walsh "Life's Been Good to Me So Far."
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
So much
I met
twang
him
in
once,
that.
and he was pretty cool.
Really?
Joe Walsh, yeah.
Amazing.
When I worked at a guitar center in LA, actually, he came in to buy cables. He was going to like a studio session or
Dude,
something.
like the way he
And,
comes in,
yeah.
pull up Hotel California live, and I love the way, because you look at like it's a great example too of two different guitar players. Don Felder, he's playing the instrument, right? He's playing the instrument, and then of course, obviously Joe Walsh is too, but it's like. Yeah, that one's probably the one. Guys that are very expressive through their playing, and then there's other guys that are playing dope shit, but they're kind of, they're centered, like you said. They're what did you say? Centered in on his
Yeah, on his chi. Yeah, I mean that's. But Felder's always been that way. He plays like he's such a beautiful player, and he's also not really. This is my opinion.
How dare he want equal money?
This is my opinion, not a fact. But I don't think he really like takes chances or risks
No.
like Walsh.
Okay.
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 Not the same way. But Felder's amazing.
And you think that that's all the greats, the ones that we love, probably do take those risks at least sometimes in their playing.
Yeah,
To like go.
and especially when you get to witness it, and they're not just taking risks in the studio or practice time, but on stage.
They're taking risks in a risky environment, like risks in the studio. Like
Well, that's what
one
makes it a
thing.
risk.
Yeah,
Because it's not really a risk in the studio.
Well, if you capture it and you decide to not overdub and delete it, then you've recorded a risk.
Yes.
Well, there was a great Bowie interview that I heard him talking about, like wanting, like where you want to go is like just above where your feet can't touch the bottom.
Right.
Just like
I remember that.
That's right where you find stuff that might be like it scares you maybe a little
Right.
bit, but it's like I think that's what you're kind of getting at
Yeah,
with
that's
the
the
risk.
gold.
Yeah, because then it's like you might actually, like I was just listening the other day, like I came on randomly Under Pressure, and I thought to myself, I wonder if when they recorded this, if they were worried about how it would be received, because it wasn't necessarily, the norm of what you would hear.
Right.
And I was like, maybe this is what he was talking about in terms of like,
I
ooh,
think
this is
so.
a little, we're taking some chances on this
Yeah.
one, but
Yeah, that's where the magic is. I would say, I'm still trying to get good at that.
yeah.
I was going to say I'm still trying to get comfortable with that, but you're supposed to not be comfortable with that. Like I go in the studio and work on my own
maybe-
music, and it's all sort of like not planned. I capture moments, but I feel like I have a hard time getting out of my comfort zone, and I don't have a hard time getting out of my comfort zone on stage.
It's funny because I like had a theme for this year. One of my themes has been like lean into the uncomfortable stuff.
Right.
And it's like, because I think that's where growth typically stands, is
It
like
is.
where you're just outside that. Because when you're in the comfort zone, you're not growing.
No, I'm a firm believer in that.
Yeah.
I mean, take like the next steps that we're trying to do with this podcast.
Yeah.
Like we've got like, things in the work that are pretty big risks, I would say,
Yeah.
in terms of like new media, new types of interview or whatever you want to call it. And like we've seen that definitely a lot where
I bet.
it's come to fruition for sure.
I think what I was going to say to you too was like, I think it's like you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. You have to get comfortable in the uncomfortable.
Right.
So just residing in that uncomfortable space, not that you're ever going to get used to it, but it's like you could get used to being in this, because then it's like it's more familiar to you. You're
To
not
be in this fight or flight kind of.
Yeah, you're
mode,
not
in a
like
way.
it's kind of like great athletes, right? Whenever they're in those moments, the big moments, and it's like for certain guys, it's like that's what they live for. It's like that to be in those moments, because that's when it like kind of just gets the quietest and they're the most like into the thing. And it's like, you can kind of, you talk about like also just, I think the great soloing, getting out of your own way, kind of like those 4 stages of mastery that we talk about, unconscious incompetence, conscious incompetence, conscious competence, unconscious competence. So
Okay.
that highest rung is there's the competence level so high that you're able to do the thing without necessarily having to like think through every single thing you're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Got him here if you all
That's-
look
Yes.
at him.
Unconscious competence that's where you want to get to.
Yeah.
Or that's
Well,
where you
I'm
start
saying
out?
that I
Oh,
think
yeah.
what with soloing, I would imagine the place to be, because like you could be soloing with the conscious competence of what you're doing versus you're almost just not having to think too much about it. It's just kind of a flow.
But you're staying in your lane, kind of thing.
I mean, I think that, yeah, but it's like also like getting to the level where, like, for me, it's like certain things I play sometimes I still have to think about them, where I'm like,
Right.
versus other things I play, it's just they're natural. And I can, do this pattern or whatever and not think versus, oh, this is a harder pattern. I'm going to have to really kind of like lock in on what I'm doing here
Yeah.
to stay in this. So like, if I can do this thing, I can go take it another level because I'm already here with but
There's this clip
hear you.
of John Mayer where he's on stage.
what do you think of John
talking
Mayer as a guitar
about-
player?
I like John Mayer's writing.
Yeah.
I like his writing, and his playing is fine. I'm not a big fan of his blues
Yeah.
playing.
I've always
Yeah.
liked "Covered in Rain." I thought was a great tune that he
What
did.
album is that?
I'm not sure, but
Wait,
he has a
Covered-
solo. It was one of his like way
I
back
know
in the
that
day.
song. So.
You got to fast forward to his solo though, because it's like his solo on this is really great.
The live one?
The second one down.
Joe Bonamassa is a great guitar player.
He's another one.
Yeah,
Some
the-
people will.
Mayer and Bonamassa, they're both guitar players. Hot takes. if you will.
They inspire hot takes.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Bonamassa probably a little bit more because of like how much of a gearhead he is, and like if you learn about it, like how many guitars and amps and like all that he has, to the point where even like guitar shops will post like a picture being like, "This is the guitar we refused to sell Joe Bonamassa because we wanted to be played and not just sitting in a warehouse somewhere." You know,
Stupid as
That
fuck.
is pretty dumb because he plays all the time.
he does. Yes.
And it's not hard to figure that information out.
Do you know what Reddit calls him? Joe Bonermaster.
That sounds right. Yeah, I was
Didn't he
a,
play with Polyphia? He played on like a Polyphia tune.
I was a Bonamassa fan for a while, and I still am a fan of him as a person.
Yeah.
I don't think he's too much of a creative, doing anything new
Right.
kind of player. And a lot of times I'm not even a big fan of his tone. But as a player, he's a fantastic technician. There's no doubt that he does play the hell out of the instrument. And he sounds like all of his influences. You know,
Right.
he's spent a lot of time trying to mimic each one. So he's kind of like a cool little encyclopedia in that sense. As far as him becoming a successful touring act, it's interesting how he does things. Like, for instance, every single venue he plays, he rents. And I have a lot of respect for that. The venue cannot touch any of his merch sales. They can't touch his ticket sales.
Yeah.
I love that.
So he just rents the entire
He
venue
rents-
out.
Yeah. And
That's
they are
actually-
the venue is allowed to sell booze. And that's it.
Yeah.
You need to go in as an investor because you could bomb. But most of the shows he books are going to be sold out, so he's going to come out on top. And it's a really interesting way of doing it.
Yeah.
You know, instead of like coming up to a venue owner and being like, "Let's work together to make us both win." He's like, "You want to make money? Here's some
Well,
money.
it sucks
Let me do my
because you
thing."
have like so many parties that want to get in the middle between the artist and the fan.
And
you know.
he's getting rid of that.
Yeah.
So
he's
many
cutting
people
out
want
as
to
much
cut
of
the
that.
pie. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and yeah, man, I'm way into gear and guitars, especially vintage and amplifiers, and I've got my own collection going, and I've got an instrument or two that I don't play,
Yeah.
and it's not because necessarily of any reason that people accuse Bonamassa of.
Right.
Maybe it's an investment piece, yeah.
And also, the bigger you get, the more free shit people give you.
That's true. But I mean, also, some stuff I don't play just because maybe it's, especially out at a gig where I'm working, because maybe it's a Les Paul Custom and it's 14 pounds, and where you have to stand for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And it sounds great, but it's not like just little things. Like I play a Strat all the time because the volume knob is a pinky's stretch away. I have complete control of my dynamic. And if I want to do that with a Les Paul, I got to reach for it. You know, I love a Les Paul, but there's just things that, but I'll not play my Les Paul Custom because I want to keep it so pristine, because I do, going back to like visual art, I do appreciate the guitar and its aesthetic. I love it. I love looking at it. I think it's such a cool figure of different models. I mean, the original solid body electric being the Telecaster, that was
Originally
kind of
the broadcaster.
the broadcaster. Well, no caster.
Yeah.
That was the tool of the trade for solid body electric. And when the Strat came around, it was a different thing. But
Did you call it your axe? Did you do your axe?
a while ago, I did. Just
Okay.
then,
Is that a nomenclature for guitars?
Yeah, you can call it your axe.
The axe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Your
Sorry.
stick.
Go ahead.
But the Strat was it came out and it had more curves and it had a contour. It had a belly cut. It wasn't just a slab of wood. It was pretty to look at.
Ergonomic.
Yeah, it was ergonomic and it was pretty to look at.
Yeah.
It wasn't everybody's favorite sound or feel, but man, when I saw a Strat as a 9-year-old in a brochure, in a catalog, just how it's presented, I just looked at it for hours at different ones in different finishes. I still appreciate.
You were like, it will be mine.
Right.
Oh yes, it will be mine.
and that was a Strat, you know,
Even before I
Do you
knew
take
that I
cash?
cha-ching.
Before I even knew that I wanted to play guitar, I always thought guitars were cool looking.
Oh yeah.
Like it's just like a piece of art, and like not even realizing like, oh, those little things. Like before I even knew like what pickups were. Of like, man, like well,
Right.
that one looks different than that, and that's cool. That one has a burst, or that's a solid color.
Yeah.
What's
And,
crazy to me though is as a drummer, I admire the fuck out of y'all, because I've picked up guitars. It just doesn't, my mind just doesn't work with it. Whereas when I sit on a drum set, it's like, this is how my mind works. I can it makes more sense to
I
me.
have a similar affinity for looking at a setup kit. Did you ever, as a kid, like see the drum set up in a sales catalog or something?
Oh
and
yeah,
just
well
think that
my
was so cool
grandfather
looking?
was a drummer, so like he had his drum set, and we
Mine
got
as
that
well.
early on, and like started CB700 shit is old.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, old school, dude.
That
Old
is
school.
way cool.
But
you
yeah,
can
just-
find some CB700s online for $300 and they sound like gold.
Bro, that's old school, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have been following this at all.
I try not to, but I mean it's so stupid. But that's only because Fender is it's stupid now.
Yeah.
Like it's a legendary company. They make my favorite guitar, and I can't imagine there's anybody working there that's over 40. I mean, it's a different thing. If you see any of their all of their social media, it's always got a young artist, like a teenager,
Yeah,
or,
the new
or,
fresh look.
or a hot artist. I mean, they are so annoyed with Eric Johnson.
Really?
They can't fucking stand him. They're probably annoyed with Clapton too.
Yeah.
But those guys are 70, so that's what they're annoyed at.
Yeah.
It's terrible. It's
Dude.
absolutely terrible. So this shit with the thing that's not gonna stick. I mean,
No.
It's
It-
public. Yeah. It's just hilarious.
It's bad
Are they trying to
PR,
say that
yeah.
somebody's stealing the design?
So it all started a couple months ago. They went after a Chinese company making Stratocaster copies that were infringing, I
Chinese
guess, on
companies,
the
bro.
copyright of it or whatever.
Were they saying they were Fenders?
I don't know if they were saying it was Fender or not,
Okay.
but the whole thing is they won by default because the company never showed up to defend themselves in court. So they just, they won by default in Germany. And something to do with like the technicality of how they won that lawsuit about how it wasn't like copyright, it was trademark or something, vice versa. It was a matter of like, well, in order to uphold this standard, you have to go after other people that are infringing on the Stratocaster body shape.
So that's
But,
what they're doing.
Yeah, there was no specifics as to what that meant, though. Does that just mean any
well,
single
also, like,
coil,
a guitar
like
can only-
It's
S-style
mainly the
body? or-
S-style body.
Yeah, but
That's
does that
mainly it.
mean like the Silver Sky, John Mayer? Like, is that a problem or?
Not really, because of the bottom cutaway
Mm-hmm.
is flattened out. It's got another cutaway that Fender doesn't do. It's just like the
Exactly.
PRS cutaway.
100%. Like, there are very clear differences from a guitar player's
Mm-hmm.
perspective, and you can very clearly see that. But the lack of specifics as to why, like what is protected versus what's not, that's where it's like a gray area. I'm with you. I don't think it's going to stick because they've been around for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Well, at a certain point, it's
Yeah.
like public domain, isn't it? You know,
It is.
It is public domain,
Yeah,
yeah.
the body style is public domain. I think for a while, long before this happened, people that were making their own parts guitars, and they were S-style guitars, the neck and headstock was actually more of a thing. You'd buy a neck, and you could put your own frets in, or you'd get a fretted neck and a body to bolt them together. And the neck, the headstock had the not a scroll, but just the bubble at the end.
mm,
They would leave an extra piece of wood on there that was up for you. It was up to you to shave it off. But they weren't going to ship it to you like that because it was exactly.
it was too specific.
Right.
It was too
Yeah.
identical. This is my personal favorite, the Gibson versus Dean from 2019, because Gibson went after Dean for doing, it was the SG, the Les Paul, and the Flying V Explorer types. But when they won in court, they only were awarded $4,000.
Wow.
Because it was like, Gibson, like, sure, you
Shit, that's
own
not
these,
even enough.
but you're not losing money on
it's not
this
even enough
at
to
all.
pay their fucking
Right.
legal fees.
That's
not even
funny.
close, dude. That's hilarious, bro. I remember back in the day, whenever my old band was gigging, there was like Gibson was going through some shit with like the wood that they made it with or something like that. Dude, pull up the Hooch live at Jack's, dude. This is me in a live gig because I like to like
The
tell
Hooch?
jokes. This is my old band back in the day. Go
On
to you
YouTube
got to
or-
YouTube, yeah.
Is this New York?
This is no, this is San Antonio, but we used to play here. We used to play at the
really?
Red Eye Fly all the fucking time.
What
Dude.
was it?
nice.
The Who?
No, people don't even know the Red Eye Fly, dude. Live at
think-
Jack's.
I don't think I ever played the Red Eye Fly, and it was never in a
You
band.
know it.
Oh,
though.
yeah.
Which one is that? That's the top one. So just like go right to the middle of this video because it's like right in the middle when we were a little further. We don't have to worry about copyright here.
This
Okay,
you.
wait, right here, just there. This is leading into the thing.
Patio bar.
I'm a pretty good drummer. People don't realize this. Right there.
Oh, shit.
Was that a VHS overdub?
Yeah.
That's vintage, dude.
They put a stop to all the wood that's being brought in to make the neck of the guitars. So fuck the man.
It sounds like there are 4 people at your show.
There's actually 5, I think, in that one. Dude, that
great.
venue checks of like it's just, you were talking about like guitar controversy. It reminded me of that shit.
That is
Dude,
so funny. Wow.
Dude, so who like I'm curious, like, so who are some of like your most fun, crazy live experience? Because I know you play with like some dope ass artists, you know, and I'm curious, like any memorable moments from your live gig career that stick out to you?
There was I think it was a 2023 Eric Johnson tour where I don't know if it was at the end or what, but it was one of the songs where he and I are trading back and forth. We're like trading 8s or 4s or something, going back and forth on improvising. And he did, I knew this lick was coming up. I just knew that it would, like, because you start to get a feel for people's cadences and where they're going to go. And as soon as the descending, like, little pentatonic thing came out, I just let go of my guitar, looked at him, an air guitar. I just went, and just kind of like mimicked him. And I really thought that, I mean, I was just in the moment and that it was funny, but I really thought that I had like done a bad thing. And I asked him, I showed him the video because a friend of mine was in the audience and sent me the video. And I said, hey, check this out. What do you think about this? And he was like, oh, that's great. He just thought it was hilarious. And that's actually one of the reasons why I love working with Eric.
Yeah.
He's brilliant and he's legendary,
Mm-hmm.
but he like all he wants to do is have fun.
Yeah.
You know, he's not concerned with his like what this tour is going to do with his career.
Yeah.
You know, he wants to come out on top or at least break even.
Yeah.
But as far, I mean, he just doesn't. He takes his music seriously.
Why?
But he's such a jokester. He's such a funny dude.
I'm curious to ask you this.
Yeah.
Because he's obviously like phenomenal. I know it's cliche, but I've Cliffs of Dover I've watched like so many times, you know, and like just amazed at what he's doing, you know. Why don't more people know about Eric Johnson? I don't understand it. Like,
I think it's because it's electric guitar, and that's slowly I think that's slowly becoming popular again and a cool thing for kids to get into. But for a while there, it wasn't. And also, he's very proficient.
I think for like guitar people, they go, oh my God, you know, and I'm
Yeah.
not a guitar person per se necessarily, but I'm a music person. So maybe just music people can watch and go, that's amazing. You know, but like for the general casual fan, maybe it's, I don't know if they just don't understand. I do say that because it's like a lot of times I feel like people don't.
He's not like a super animated performer.
Yeah.
And lots of people just need,
We were just talking about that
need
with like Felder and Walsh, you know?
Right,
Like
yeah.
how that.
He's a performer, and sometimes he'll bend a note and he'll feel it so much that he kind of backs up a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And I think there's a few YouTube videos of people like making fun of that. Like, this is when Eric Johnson bends a note in a guitar store. And the dude's in a guitar store and he backs up out of the doors. Like, you know, it's supposed to be funny. It's not. I didn't think it was, at least. But
You
there's
very
just a lot
quickly,
of-
as a guitar player, grow out of that kind of humor.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
As a beginner, you watch, or at least I did. I watched all those like 10 types of people in a guitar store. Or,
Right.
Like 10, and it's fun because it's like you're in on the joke, you understand it.
You
but then
understand it, yeah.
6 months into playing, it's like, all right, that's kind of old. You
Right.
know, I'm not gonna get kicked out for playing Smoke on the Water. Like,
Right.
It's not that.
And
big.
then there's that photo of
No stairway.
Denied.
Denied.
There's that photoshopped photo of John Mayer holding a slug, you know, and he's going like, but it's really just his guitar face. And
Yeah.
whether that face is real or not, I mean, you're taking it and making it a joke, and it's dumb. I mean, it can be funny, but it's funny for a month,
Yeah.
maybe, you know. But that kind of stuff is just like quick little reaches for humor. It's like there's no weight in
Because
it,
Yeah.
I'll laugh at a funny guitar joke for sure if it's original and
but
like,
not for long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh well, I've heard that before. you
Because I
know?
will too, but I'm like, huh, and then I keep scrolling.
Mm-hmm.
You know, seen it.
Dude, the lead guitarist in that band that I was just showing from that band, The Hooch, I think his dad worked with Eric on some stuff. Like,
Okay.
he's a sound engineer, audio
nice.
engineer, Kelly Stewart. But like, he had told me, like, I think my friends like been to some shows and stuff with Eric. How did you originally get connected, like with him, like start working with him?
The first time we connected was at the old Austin Vintage guitar store. Before
That's an appropriate place.
it's an appropriate place.
Right.
Yeah, no, definitely. It was where Highball currently is and used to be, because before it was that, it was a completely different completely open parking lot shopping center with Highball in a slightly different direction position, and then Heart of Texas Music, Austin Vintage behind it. I think it was like not Austin Speaker Works or some custom shop, but it was Rob Haggard's custom shop, and then Austin Vintage. And in that Austin Vintage, I went there as a high schooler. I think I was a sophomore. It was before I moved to Dallas, because I moved to Dallas for my last 2 years of high school.
Okay.
But while I was, here's a hot topic. While I was at Westlake, it was terrible. I didn't play football, so I didn't have
I
friends.
mean, I've heard things about Westlake.
Oh yeah, but while I was there, I was at Austin Vintage.
That
I
was
had
surprising.
a 68 drip edge twin reverb, and I wanted to get. I was Well, actually, I didn't want to get rid of it. I wanted to buy a jazz guitar, and no one does this, but for some reason I thought, I should go in with my own amp and try a bunch of guitars through my amp. Kind of like how you would say, if you're shopping for an amp, maybe you would go into a guitar store with your guitar and plug in through a bunch of amps. That makes sense.
Right.
It doesn't make sense what I did, but whatever. I brought my own, and a twin reverb at that, so I brought my own, 80-pound or 90-pound, 212 tube amp into a small guitar store and tried out a bunch of arch tops. Eric walked in, and he goes, "Oh, wow, is that a 68? Actually, he didn't, because he knew it was a 68 by looking at it. And he goes, "Are you selling that?" I said, "I don't know." Yeah,
I don't know,
maybe. Yeah, everyone's got a price.
Did you know who he was?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I was a
okay.
big fan. I really was a big fan.
Were you
growing
trying,
up.
like, how was that for you in that moment where you're like, because I've been around people where I'm like, I'm trying to keep my cool,
Right.
even though I know they're like legit, but I'm like, act like you've been there before.
I was
Yeah.
pretty much, I kept my cool, and I was pretty much, it was not hard. Like, I wasn't like, "Oh my God, it's Eric Johnson."
Yeah.
I just thought, "Oh, wow, that's Eric." Okay.
Yeah.
Well, like, he's local,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'd seen him around, but never met him. This was the first time that I'd met him. And he's like, "You mind if I play through it?" And he goes, "Yeah." So he picked up a Strat off the wall and played through it, and no pedals, and he sounded like Eric. It was so cool. That was what was so cool.
Yeah,
is that he
hearing Eric through your amp.
yeah, and it didn't sound like just generic. It sounded like him, and all he had was a guitar and a cable and that amp. And I can't remember. I think he offered me like $800 or $700, and I was like, "Oh man, no, I don't want to sell it." But like, that's a bit low. I even knew then that I shouldn't have sold it for that low, so I didn't. But that was my first time meeting him, I believe. But
And this was, how old are you when was this?
I was like a freshman or sophomore, so I was like 15, 16.
In high school.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Damn. Yeah. That's cool.
But
That's especially impressive for you to be like chill about it at that, because you're being that young, Not be like, "Oh,
well,
you're
the
Eric
other
Johnson."
thing is, my dad had worked with him before.
Okay.
Because my dad was in, he was an architect, but by the time I was born, up until like COVID, his main thing was central air, heating and air conditioning, HVAC, and he had a little company that would work on and replace air conditioning and heating in Austin, and mostly residential.
Mm-hmm.
But Eric worked with him in his studio, and my dad worked with him. So, because my dad was, because he had an architecture background, he was really good at designing custom ductwork and routing and how to get the most money saved on your energy bill kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so Eric was into that. He's very particular, obviously. He's very particular, not just about his music, but about the temperature of his home or his studio.
Yeah.
So they'd worked together before.
Yeah.
And I'm sure at some point my dad said, like, "Yeah, my son's a big fan of yours. He's a guitar player." "Oh, that's nice."
Yeah.
It probably didn't go much further than that.
Yeah. And then so later you're like, "Yo, my dad did your AC, dog."
He's like, "I know."
How is it? Are you feeling cool? Okay, good.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing that was pretty cool, it was at a sound check, so it was before the show, but Eric had told me, he goes, "Dave, I'm trying to work with our front of house engineer on getting the tone right in the house." Because before sound check even starts, after load in, Eric has like 2 hours. It's in the schedule as Eric Dink, and he just dinks. He just goes in, turns his amps on, leaves the PA off. The microphones are on the amps.
Dual
but-
income, no kids.
Right. Yeah, right. But that's good. He'll just play with the amp in the room and not in the house, and kind of twist knobs and make sure that everything feels right to him. And then during sound check, the sound guy will turn the guitar cabinet mics on in the house and see if it works for him. And it was not working for him for a while, so he said, "Why don't you? I'm trying to get the mics on the cab to sound right in the house for the show. I want to be in the in the audience to before the show, obviously, to see how that sounds. And yeah, so would you mind playing my guitar through my rig and go through all the patches? And I'm like, no, I wouldn't mind at all. That would be a lot of fun for me. So it was really fun to, like, you know, fly the ship for a bit.
Yeah.
And the little, my inner 12-year-old was freaking out. You know?
Bro.
To be at the helm of the ship, looking down at his pedal board,
Yeah, which
and
is
just
like
damn,
it
this
looks like
is-
garbage, by the way. His pedal board is it's not clean.
Hot take, Eric Johnson's pedal board.
Looks like garbage, yeah. And it's
Only
so
look.
funny because I asked him, I was like, Eric, I'm swear I'm not going to get too nerdy on this tour, and I've promised myself that I wouldn't, but I gotta ask, why is he's got a couple of pedal boards, like one for each kind of amp. His sound is like 3 different amps, and each amp has a different board, so to speak.
wild.
And one of the boards is a piece of plywood with 3 pedals on it, and they are not dual locked. They are not Velcroed. They are loosely
Just
sitting.
moving around.
Yeah,
That's
they're not stuck
hilarious.
to the board at all. And I'm like, why is your fuzz face and your tube screamer all just kind of loose? And he goes, well, you know, every venue sounds different, and sometimes the tube screamer sounds best in the top right corner.
Wow. Dude.
And I'm like, are you serious? And he goes, well, yeah. And what always sounds good is the grain of the plywood needs to be going horizontal.
Dude's taking Tonewood to another level.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm like, I actually said, I said to Eric, who's the biggest sweetheart, and I just, you know, I've never heard him say a swear word. I said, are you fucking with me right now? And he just kind of smiled and he goes, maybe. I don't know. And I don't think he was. I think he just caught me like, and goes, yeah, that's kind of ridiculous. You know?
Dude. Bro, that's hey man, he's very detailed. He's very
Oh, yeah.
detailed in his approach, clearly. So, you know, that applies. Right?
Even if it is just placebo of like,
Oh, yeah.
I think it does sound better when it's in the top right corner.
Right.
Like, if it makes him think that, it might make him play better in a way, you know?
He never talks about, I mean, he says things like, it sounds better like this, but he doesn't even, some of the time, most of the time, he's not talking about sound. He's talking about the way it feels to him. You know, he always talks about how, you know, if the Marshall is plugged into a wall outlet that's got really crappy power, for some reason it makes his pick bounce better on the strings. What?
It's like, yeah, for sure, definitely.
Yeah.
dude.
I mean, I can kind of
Bro.
jump on board. If the power sucks, then the amp will compress maybe more quickly, and the pickups are reacting to standing next to the. I don't know.
Because you do hear about that with like
Bro.
American voltage versus like in
Sure.
the UK. Like, that's a thing.
Yeah,
But
that's
just
yin and yang, though. This is like voltage
Yeah.
difference of like three
like
or four.
the
different, you know.
not like the smallest of differences.
Yeah.
Which,
Now there is like I think it's silicone fuzz pedals most of the time. They will sound different if you put them in a cold room.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That's
Or-
100% a thing.
Or if it's in a warm room and you put like a non, like it's not going to get wet, but like a bag of ice over it, the tone will change.
I always
It's
forget
wild.
if it's silicone or if it's germanium fuzzes that do that. But I do, like, if you stick it in the freezer, like, it just behaves differently because of that transistor.
It's wild.
Doing,
And that's
you
a
know,
real
what it's
thing.
supposed to do, yeah.
I used to think that was not a real thing.
I did hear a story. I think it was a John Mayer story, actually, about him sticking his guitar in his freezer.
Yeah, he did.
Which
That's right.
he goes on this whole thing about, like, I just couldn't get this guitar to work the way I wanted it to. I wrapped it in towels and stuck in the freezer overnight. And then next morning I took it out and it just sounded the same.
Yeah, that was his whole punchline at the end. It's like,
No difference. So.
I'm curious. When did you first meet Gary around? Because I'm sure you've known him. You've known him for probably a good while, right?
yeah, I've
Yeah.
known him since we were in high school.
That's
We went to different high schools. I was more close buds with Eric Zapata,
Okay.
who's Gary's second guitar player.
Okay.
And because me and some other friends from Westlake were friends with Eric, and he'd come by Westlake in his like 99 or 2000 Camaro SS and pick us up.
I had a 97.
You did?
I did.
Is that
Actually, and I had
is that
a
the headlight
2000
change?
It was the year before. It was when they still had when they got the new taillights that were like the tricolor.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
And then, but the headlights were still the old. The 97 was the only year where they had the new taillights and the old headlights.
And the old, yeah.
And then 98 switched to the bubble, which I actually think. I kind of liked the old headlights. They were like
Really?
recessed in
Yeah,
a
they were
little.
recessed
They
in.
kind of had a little bit more of a, I don't know, just like a sleekness to them.
Yeah.
And the bubbly ones, they were cool too. But yeah, I don't know. That's awesome though.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm a car dude, so I love fucking.
Wow, me too. I was just looking at an 02 Camaro for fun.
They're probably very expensive. My brother has a 2000 black WS6 Trans Am.
Oh wow.
That's
Oh no, dude.
cherry.
I'm looking at a V6.
Oh, okay.
Base model, cloth interior, and the dude wants $4,500
Those
bucks
super
for it, you know.
sports were so dope though, with the
Yeah.
Ram Air hoods on them. Oh, bro.
Oh yeah.
That's
that
dope.
was fun.
That's like you're in high school, like Eric Johnson's pulling up. Hey, what's up, dude? What's
Yeah.
up, bro?
Yeah.
You're like, what?
Zapata would pick us up, and then we'd drive by all the other students' cars that were parked, and he'd just throw it in neutral and rev that LS1 or whatever motor it was.
LS1.
Yeah, and set off alarms. And we just thought that was hilarious.
Bro.
But we were friends, and then but they were Zapata and Gary have been
Gary's
tight
a little
for
older,
yeah,
right?
than
He's
me.
like 43, 42, 43, somewhere in there.
Yeah. And they went to Zapata and Gary went to Austin High.
Okay.
And but Zapata would pick me and a couple other friends up for going out to lunch, you know, during lunch hour.
Yeah.
And I'd met Gary in passing in Hangs, you know, and it was at a time where he was getting recognition as an artist and as a player. What I really dug is that he was predominantly he had a clean tone. He didn't have an overdriven tone. He just had a clean sound and a traditional blues kind of feel. And then, you know, Bright Lights came out and he's all fuzzed out, and it's way cool. It is way cool. I just remember when he was just playing clean, and I'd heard old recordings of that and felt really nostalgic. You know? But Gary's great. He had me sit in one time when he came into Moody, and I sat in on a blues tune, and he handed me a solo, and after the solo, a packed Moody theater of
Is this ACL Live?
this is the theater.
Are you talking about the outdoor?
No.
The indoor.
Yeah,
on
Moody
Second.
Theater. Yeah,
With Willie out
Right,
front.
right.
That's
Exactly.
that's like my favorite venue in Austin, actually.
it's one of mine too, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was packed, and after I played my solo, the crowd erupted, and I wasn't expecting like what that would do to me, how that felt. I had no idea, because I'd been in a situation where I played a feature and the Saxon Pub erupted or Sea Boys erupted, and a lot of the people in that audience were friends of mine or family even.
Yeah.
But and you know, older, but like a sea of a packed Moody theater of people my age or younger that I didn't know appreciating electric guitar. That was huge. I was like shocked the way that made me feel, the rush that I got. I not felt that. It was a similar kind of euphoric feeling to when you first told a joke that landed with everybody.
Like heroin.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, you know, when you tell a joke and it lands with complete strangers and none
It's
of
better.
your friends, it's way better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
That's
I don't have any biases that are working in my favor right now. It's this is all
Exactly.
on the thing I'm doing.
that's how you know that you hit.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? That was way cool. And yeah, I respect Gary, and you can tell that he respects his peers. He's come and sit in with me. Like I used to play every Monday at Friends Bar, just right here.
I love that he still goes in there sometimes, bro.
Yeah, he does.
Even now, he does still sometimes. Not like often, but
That he will, and he'll sit in with like Brad Stivers or the Southsiders, and guys that have been playing Friends since it used to be called Babes on 6th, you know. And oh man, I played every Monday at Friends for like 5 years.
damn.
Played right before Eric Tesmer. Have you seen that guy play yet? He's another like staple. He and Gary are tight. I love Gary, man. I love what he's doing and what's happened in his career and how he's going about everything. And he's a dad now.
Yeah.
I guess his kids, I don't know. I'm taking a wild guess. Probably 2 at this point.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
Pull it
did
up, Eric,
you-
if you wanted to.
yeah, Tesmer is
Kessler Theater.
Tesmer at the Kessler. Yeah, Tesmer is
great.
he's
Tesmer
a
at the
buddy.
Kessler.
He's a buddy of mine. I've known him for a while, and he's just been at it
Saxon.
forever as well in Austin.
Do you want to watch this? Do you want to listen to him? At
I
all?
don't. No.
He's like, I watched it for every goddamn Monday
But
for
you
5
should,
years.
like,
Yeah.
later.
Go check him
Dude,
out.
no, I'm curious too with like Gary. Like, did you? I mean, because you knew him before he was, Gary Clark Jr. You know, did like was there a moment?
We
did you-
were
did-
never close friends.
Yeah. Okay.
But I knew
like,
him.
did you catch on? Did you think he would do what he's done? Like, did you see that before?
I did think that.
Like he had that.
I did think he was going to go to a tier that he's at now. I just didn't. I kind of didn't think it was going to go to the direction that it did. You know. I mean, just even something as simple as his guitar tone. It was so clean and traditional. And when he first broke, that I can remember it being like another level of breaking an artist. His tone was fuzzy and gnarly. Sounded like a couple of the batteries on his board were dying. It was way cool. It was just way different than what I'd heard growing up.
The cleaner kind of what you had
Yeah.
like come to know him on. What I'm curious. What do you think? Why do you think that switched? Do you think it was like
Because we're human. We make changes to what we like, and our tastes changes just like our taste buds change. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I like both.
I was gonna
Garys.
say you also. I mean, like could like song dependent. You could have a cleaner tone for this tune, and then maybe muddy it up a little on this because it's
Right.
like it works better for this.
Yeah. I think he has some stuff where he's still using like a clean kind of sound, and it's probably when he's doing more of a Delta blues kind of vibe, and or maybe that's not even clean. Maybe it was recorded clean, and then they ran it through like what sounds like an AM radio, kind of just make it distorted but smaller. I don't know.
Dude. I feel like he is Gary's like kind of taken the mantle, in terms of like the blues guitarists of like, your Stevie Ray in the past and stuff. I feel like he's kind of become that guy in Austin where
Yeah.
like the most known, not necessarily, not just there's so many great players here, but just
Right.
kind of like the guy in the when
Yeah.
people think of Austin.
Yeah, exactly. He's since Stevie, he's probably been the next guy that's out of this city that has hit that kind of similar tier.
Yeah.
There's been others that have been successful, but it's not. It's a different as far as like culture.
Yeah,
Pop culture,
absolutely.
I don't think we're really going to see another wave of, or at least like see guitarists get to the same level as like Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jimmy Page, Jimi Hendrix, like just like that level of like pop culture relevance. Not in terms of skill set, because there are amazing players
Yeah.
out there, but in terms of just like household name almost.
Right.
Just because, like, let's admit it, guitar is not at the same level of popularity as it once was.
Right.
You
Not
know?
with EDM.
All these goddamn DJs out here.
Well, I was saying that earlier. I feel like guitar for a while was not cool, and it's slowly coming back. I see more and more kids
It's like a 3-piece suit,
wanting
dude.
to do it. Yeah.
I see it
coming
every
back.
yeah. I see it every day at work. You know, kids coming in and buying their first electric guitar, and it's a pretty fun experience for me having been in their shoes. And
But what songs do you hear kids playing on the floor?
This is gonna depress you guys. I'm no longer hearing like classic rock songs. Like I'm not hearing like Little Wing. I'm not hearing.
I never heard Little Wing. At
Or I'm not
Guitar
hearing.
Center.
I'm not hearing Sweet Child of Mine.
Yeah.
I'm not hearing the typical ones that everybody points to.
Inner Sandman.
Enter Sandman. We do hear those every so often,
Yeah.
but actually, usually those are like the older cats that come in. We're hearing TikTok songs
Okay.
all the time, more so on piano than anything else.
Right.
So
Yeah.
the songs that are get TikTok famous for a couple months, and then like the next thing rolls in.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and it does make sense in the sense that is what is prominently out there, what people are hearing. Because I do remember when I was first getting started, like I was trying to learn what was like out then and what I was hearing, but also a lot of that came from like Guitar Hero.
Sure.
Like I remember the first time I heard Cliffs of Dover in Guitar Hero, and like that was, I think, one of the moments really that made me think like, wow, this is a fucking cool instrument. I want to see what else there is.
A lot of
pursue
people
this.
know Eric Johnson through that only.
Really?
Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so popular when it was at its peak. I think it's one of the most like I think it is the most sold game of like the 2000s.
I used to rock out Texas Flood, dude.
Really?
Bro.
The animations to those songs were so unrealistic.
Oh yeah.
It was hilarious.
They fully leaned into the obscurity of it.
yeah.
And I love going back and watching like the behind the scenes of like, because they would do like band specific versions of the game. Like they did a Metallica version, and like watching Metallica behind the scenes doing like the mocap and stuff. Like it's just super fun,
That's depressing though about the guitar, like kids doing the TikTok shit. It's like that's where, and we talk about AI too, and just like all the new. It's like there's something about like a man and his axe, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Have you guys heard that Suno? Is that the one that's like the music generator?
Yeah.
Suno. Have you heard
It's one of them, I think.
It's one of them. But there's one that's like
That's the
really,
most popular and used. Yeah.
Their CEO was going around. I think it was on a podcast or something, talking about like, oh, this makes it so it takes the hard part and like the not fun part about making music out of the equation, because nobody wants to play music anymore. They just want to get to the end.
Nobody wants to put in 10,000 hours. Who needs 10,000 hours?
No.
Yeah, fully missing the point of like what makes music fun, and it was just depressing.
I think there was not the CEO, but some representative of Suno that was did a class or a seminar at Berkeley and tried to get students to jump on board with AI.
I think it was a graduation speech, actually. I think I saw that.
There was that too. Was that? I don't think that was Berkeley though.
I don't remember, but I remember there was a graduation speech by like an AI guy, and going off similar vein. It sounds like.
Yeah, and all the students, totally rejected that idea, which was awesome.
Yeah, it's cool to see folks just go creatively. I don't want this anything to do with like how I make music, how I make my art. Like this has no place in this world. So that was cool to see.
Well, it's an instant gratification culture. So.
Right.
Yes.
One of my favorite things to do in my career is record and be in the studio and be removed from the audience, who typically is my least favorite part of what I do. But it's not a nice thing to say. But
Dave Scher hates the audience. He hates you.
No, yeah, you hear that? No, I don't. There's just
compared to the other
I have
experiences.
tics.
Well, that's an interesting thing, because like compared to like what you just said a minute ago about the Gary thing and the solo and just that's a live audience, that you're never going to get that without a live audience, right?
Oh, yeah.
So it is interesting to hear you say that, because that's a contrast.
No, there's something I love about playing live. And that is having a green room and being removed. That doesn't entirely. It's not just black and white. Like there's audiences that really move me when I can look out and feel that they're genuinely digging what's going on.
Well, then there's like electricity.
Yeah. And I try and play those places as often as possible because it's euphoric.
Yeah.
You know. But I like to be away from the audience. I like to be in a okay. What's that show with Simon as a judge?
American Idol.
yeah.
No.
America's Got Talent.
America's Got
Yeah.
Talent. Someone comes
Tony?
out. Yeah, right. Someone comes out and they're like, "What are you going to do for us today?" "I'm going to sing." "Okay. Anytime now. Go for it." And they sing and they sound great. And then they get to a high note.
Uh-huh.
And when the high note happens, after the high note happens, there's like this really clean descending run that I wanted to hear. And they execute it, but I can't hear it because when the high note happened, everybody in the audience screamed. And I'm like, stop. I want to hear the song. I want to hear the whole performance. And it's like they're being cheered on. Maybe in that show, that's the whole point. I don't know, but I have pet peeves. One of them is interruptions like that from people that are cheering you on.
Stop cheering me!
Like it's some sort of competitive, like, there's a difference when
and some people
you
might
can't
be
help
going
yourself.
for that. Like truly, you can tell they're going to like get the crowd in it.
Sure.
To like versus somebody that's just doing something dope and the crowd reacts.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So,
But when you're in the studio, there's no bias. There's no chance of influence like that, you know, and it's a very intimate setting. In the studio, being a musician who maybe, okay, so you're not writing your own music. Instead, you're hired as a guitar player to play on someone's song, and they love your work. No matter how much they love what you do and how often they're going to call you to do more of their albums, that guitar player's job is in jeopardy of being lost to AI. And I think as much as I am annoyed with audience members sometimes, I think every musician needs to get familiar with the art of performing and put performances on their calendar and get busy and make their living from that.
Yeah.
Because maybe I'm wrong, but I just don't see a way how AI could touch that.
they can't.
Because what are they going to do? Like put it
Chuck E.
do
Cheese
Chuck E.
robot
Cheese band?
bands.
Yeah, exactly what I was going to say. Like just like it's not.
Those things scare the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Dude.
Or
I'll probably have
holograms.
flashbacks to 6 years old, dude. I'll be like, what the fuck is going on? Get this fucking rat out of here.
It's creepy.
This rat's shredding this fucking...
But
Dude.
maybe people will like that. I don't know. But
Well, that's the thing is the problem with like the younger generations. And it's like, I think that I agree with you. Live performance, there's something that can't be matched there.
Right.
And you can't replicate it with a computer. You can't...
I do think the first form of music performance, if you want to call it that, that's going to be taken over by AI is DJing, live DJing.
Yeah. Or like movie scoring. You know, like it could be so easy to be like make a ominous
You mean like music being reactive to what's
like
going
yeah,
on?
like yeah, where it's like it's just like not even necessarily music, but just tones and different
Yeah.
things to create
That'll be
emotion.
something that'll
Like
be taken
like
over.
AI can do all those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But as far as a live show, I mean, and I don't think that's, oh God, I hope I'm right. I don't think that's ever going to be something that people no longer want to go out and do
Look,
or see.
AI's not gonna light a guitar on fire, dude.
Neither am I. Maybe,
But you could.
yeah, maybe a Fender.
Dude, I need a contract. Just one to burn at the end of
Yeah.
every set. Dude, no. But like, you're right. And I think that it's also the emotion, the emotion factor that a real human infuses into the instrument, to the music, that you just don't feel it when it's coming from a computer. You just don't.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
care.
how the audience connects to the artist. Because like an audience, even if it's someone on stage, like let's take like Bieber for example at Coachella, where he's like performing along to a backing track.
Yeah.
I feel like more people would be more connected to that if there was a live band behind him. You know, like
Yeah.
being able to connect to people making music, humans making music. That's the part that AI can't really step
Well,
into. It's
and-
like, it's just like human nature.
And if anywhere where you could be much more easily replaced, it would be in the studio, not in the live performance setting. The live performance setting is where you're needed,
Right.
you know, because, yeah, you can't. I mean, again, yes, you could theoretically recreate that, but it's like, again, whatever, every solo you do is going to be different. You know what I mean? Like, nothing's ever going to be the same thing, and it's always...
Like, yeah, you could recreate that, but I feel like no one's gonna want that.
Right.
No one's gonna want to go see a Chuck E. Cheese band.
It's creating a product that people
Maybe he just
aren't
broke up with his
incentivized
robot
to
girlfriend,
buy.
though.
Yeah. And there are good things like in music that AI is doing, like when it comes to like DSP and
Right.
guitar processing. I was just
Yeah.
listening to an interview with
That's why I say
Alex
it
Lifeson.
should be a tool, and you'd be
It should be,
foolish
yeah.
to not be leveraging it at this
Sure.
point, given how much utility it has. But there's a line to draw where it's like, okay, this stops being artistry, or this is crossing over into the like it's going to be affecting the artistry of the thing versus this is just to help from the technical or
Yeah.
just the standpoint of like the things I need to do to put this together.
Have you guys ever heard what's going on in an AI song? Have you ever heard an AI song and listened to the mix and
Play one.
and you were just like, oh, that's AI. I can tell by what's going
There
on.
are elements, yeah.
Pull something up because it's like it is crazy because
I mean, I'd
it's
rather you
gotten
didn't, but I
well.
get it.
I think it's
Well,
a
listen
good
to
case
it.
study though because it's like it's one of those things is like it's gotten to the point where you start to go, oh damn, that is. But I still think there's just things that it cannot because it's only could ever copy.
Right.
It can't like make its own.
I guess AI songs. I'm just gonna
I mean, and it depends on the artist because if it's like you could make an AI cover of a Drake song and it might as well be Drake,
Right.
Yeah,
It's
like
potato chips.
here.
Exactly.
So this is a cover of Billie Jean, but it's like like a Western version. So it's like
That's tone right there.
Sure is. I think every
It's
instrument.
almost too perfect though, too. You
well,
know,
it's
that.
the performance, yeah.
No,
But like, I think every instrument in this mix that has a long tone, like the voice, the guitar strings, bass, it's hard to tell in bass, has this garbled thing.
you can really hear it in the guitar right now
Yeah.
with like that percussive quality.
But the short sounds like snare, kick, tom, those sound pretty real.
yeah.
Those can sound pretty real.
And that also goes to like how popular and common it is to have like AI not AI, but like sample replacing drums,
Right.
layering in, a kick or a snare because admittedly it's easier to get a consistent sound with a sample than it is consistently mic'd
Yeah.
if you're not working with a good drummer at least,
I have been really into recording.
we're rock stars
whole
who
life,
endorse
and-
the president, sell Pepsi because that's what the president wants.
Theoretically.
Fuck.
Yeah.
It takes all the rock and roll element out of it, or
Sure.
just like there's that's the scary thing is like when an audience starts to like not care
Right.
that it's AI, so they're going to
That's the
consume this
danger.
thing where it's like, oh, I'll draw an ethical line. I don't listen to AI music ever,
Right.
ever. I just don't.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to, and if I ever get in some and I was aware that it was AI, I'm like, I'm not going to want to listen to this. Like,
it taints it a
But-
little bit. You can always
yeah.
be tricked into like, oh, this sounds good, and then a couple seconds in, you realize it's AI, or like you see in the comments or whatever.
but it's also
someone calling it out as AI.
there's an infusion happening where you're going to be hearing stuff that might have partially human elements and partially computer elements, and it's a mix of different things. It's
Oh,
like.
yeah.
So it's like, oh, where's the line get drawn now? Where it's like,
Right.
oh, this is partially AI, or
Because you could even make the argument of like when drum machines were first invented, like that was a form of AI because it's replacing a human drummer. But
Right.
nowadays they're so
But they
common.
They did the same thing then. They like you were saying, Cody, like you capitalize on and leverage that as a tool, like what was it help me out here.
Rick James.
Yeah.
Give
Give it to me, baby. The synth bass part on that is repetitive. And it's synth bass. It's not electric bass. So he could have gone dun 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 dun. Okay, take that, splice it, and or copy and paste.
Yeah.
And he didn't. He performed it the whole way through, and as you listen to it, you can hear him like start getting into this zen, like settling into the groove, like very, very unlike how a machine would.
Right. There's nuance and change. Like it might speed up slightly or slow down slightly on certain parts of the song.
Or it might swing, or it might get straight,
Mm-hmm. There's so many artists like that. Like for instance, Stevie Wonder, like his early stuff where he's playing everything.
Right.
And like you can hear him like there's not everything's to a grid,
Right.
and that's also the part of like it was recording analog, so
Yeah.
you know there's no computer really to even be there to help in the first place.
Right.
But then there are other bands, like one of my favorite bands is Ween. Love those guys.
Yeah.
All their early stuff was just them and a drum machine. Like it's just
That's a
because they
different-
couldn't do it.
It was a different vibe, though. It was all about the writing.
Yes.
With Stevie Wonder, he was a songwriter, but it was about the performance and the what he could make funky. You know.
Yeah.
When you talk about like animation and the guy that is, you know, he's just constantly moving his body and
Oh,
just,
yeah.
you're
Like an
feeling the
animated performer.
emotion
Yeah.
with him as he's doing it, because it's like, yeah, that's again, it's like
Yeah.
it's the same thing as like the, you know, infusing that emotional, like the John Mayer face or whatever, but it's like
Right.
it's saying something emotionally to you than more than just the notes being played. So you're like, okay, there's a performance here that goes past just the actual music itself.
Yeah.
And it's like that's where the human part is like always you can't
Right.
like manufacture
Duplicate that.
Yeah.
That's what makes music a universal language. It's that the human connection of it, being able to like listen to something and then connect to it
Right.
because you hear that human element in there. And that's even the case for like traditionally like non-human music. Like I would
Aliens?
say like, well, Daft Punk.
Do you think aliens
would be
listen
a
to
great
music?
example of that?
I wonder.
Maybe.
It's probably pretty good
I mean,
music.
they're
Yeah, it's probably.
It's definitely on a grid.
Yo, you heard that new Alien jam though, Doc?
Dude.
No, but I feel like the actual as a live performance nut, let's say, as you're aware, just that it's the energy there. It's the I can't even listening to it, and as much as I love, and it's like the same thing as like, you know, being in a live performance versus in the studio. It's like sometimes I want to be at home just listening to music by
Right.
myself, just feeling that there. But other times it's like that feeling in the moment with everyone and the energy and the collective, and it's like that's a thing that it's a different type of feeling, and it's like it's also something that, you know, pulls me.
You can
It's
appreciate different things whether you're like just a sole listener or part of an audience.
yeah,
Like,
or
that just
like
changes what
watching
pay
you do what
attention
you're
to.
doing, bro. Like when you know when you did the encore, and it was like just kind of just watching you work, and it's like you know that's just it's just like getting to watch a painter paint, or you know getting to watch somebody do their craft, and I can't replace. It's not, there's a beauty in the person that did this,
course.
you know, because the Dave Scher, there's like there's many years of things that brought Dave here, where the thing you're hearing is so much. There's so much in here,
Right.
that there's no computer program could replicate, or no, you know, it's like, and that is ultimately what I think we're striving for, and I think that people are going to want more as we get into this more artificial world that we're in. I think that's why this medium is great, because we get to have authentic conversations with artists where it's like, this isn't. I mean, we'll talk about AI, but like we're not.
Sure.
This is the real shit. This is you know.
Yeah.
Like there was that band that came out last year. I'm not sure if you guys have been following them, but like was it Angine de Poitrain?
Yeah.
The Canadian. Have you seen them?
The Polka Dots.
Polka Dot band. I'll pull them up.
Guy's got a dick on his face,
Yeah.
essentially.
Here, I'll pull it up. But
Got a real gonzo nose.
a lot of people have been saying that they are like anti-AI music. In the sense that it's something that, you know, AI can't reproduce because of how microtonal it is.
Yeah,
I do have a bit of a problem with how much people are loving on it, in the sense that it's like, oh, this has never been done before, because it, like stuff like
Yes,
that
it
has
has.
been done.
It's been done for centuries in Turkey and Persian music.
Is it
Like
true? Is it true that everything's been
microtonal
done
stuff.
before?
He probably.
Yeah. These
What the
guys- You've not
Oh,
seen
you know
these
what?
before?
Maybe I have seen this.
Yeah. Well, I don't have a problem with them at all. It's a problem with how people treat.
Is that a
like,
bass and a guitar on the same thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you take a look at
And-
the frets,
Yeah, they're all different spacing,
That's
microtonal. If
Yeah.
you want to get
it's
specific.
a
with it.
24 tone instrument.
I've seen the dual guitars. I don't think I've ever seen that. A guitar slash bass.
I have seen these before. Not this exact one. This one, I think they like, you know, actually like built
It
themselves.
kind of looks like they took a Strat and a P
Yeah.
bass and just said, "Let's glue it."
just put it together and put some polka dots on it.
Right.
It's a good bass.
Yeah, more power to them. But like I said, I think that there are other bands like Primus, like Deerhoof, like Lightning Bolt that have done things similar in the sense that it's like non-traditional, microtonal, very odd time signature, like more the noise element of it rather than the traditional musicality of it. But I think the reason why these guys blew up so much the past year is because alongside AI of them being like people just latching onto them and saying AI cannot reproduce this, and like that makes this a safe band in a way.
See, I feel like AI could reproduce that, if anything.
Yeah, they just take it out of the 12-tone system and add more tones, and that's the first step. Watching this, as a drummer, Cody, how do you feel about like people who put shit on their drums to make it stop ringing? People who bury the beater on the kick.
Lay a
People who
thick old
just
towel
like-
over their
people who
snare.
play one goddamn dynamic.
It's it just seems like
I think you can tell how I feel.
you're
about it.
limiting your. If you don't like range and you don't like being able to create some contrast with what you're
Sure.
doing, because to me that's the thing that like some bands is like they have one dynamic
Right.
loud,
Yeah. But I
Motorhead,
mean,
for instance.
most of the time when you see like drummers that you and I both know throw like a wallet on the snare,
Yep.
there's a cool thing about to happen. There's a cool sound. There's a cool 2 and 4 that you're gonna feel. That's gonna be
I do that.
sharp
I
and
do that.
short. And
it gives you a little bit like better
I do it as an
rebound.
effect.
It gets you like if I were gonna do that, it's like it's a tone thing, but it's also like a tension on the head thing, so that I can get a little bit because like I'll see guys that play like on a piccolo, and it's like that's like super like ratcheted, so you're getting like all the rebound,
Right.
and then you like loosen the head up. You're like okay, but if you're like I'm gonna sit down, I'm like all right, I can put this and like create a little bit more of that, just the tone that I want, because the snares are hard to get, in like terms of like where you and different drummers like their tone different, you
Yeah.
know.
Saint Anger. Yeah.
Saint like what?
Saint Anger.
yeah,
Saint Anger?
The,
Yeah,
uh,
the Metallica album.
Oh.
Yeah, where everyone dogs on that snare tone as if it's just a trash can that's getting hit with a
head on
a
it.
skillet.
yeah.
Dude. I like a clean snare tone though too. Like I don't like a super resonant like because that you start to not be a snare at a certain point to me. I don't know. It just feels.
It almost
dig it.
adopts more of like that tom quality to it.
But then I also don't like it too
yeah.
cranked, because then it's like what is this, marching band?
Right.
You know, like
No, I understand. I'm just not. I'm not a fan of. Or I'll tell you what I'm a fan of is tone. I think what's that drummer's name? I think he plays with the gal on keys, and he wears overalls. JD
Oh.
Beck, I think that's his name. You know about him?
I'm not familiar.
Okay,
No.
he's brilliant at rhythm. I don't know about music. Maybe I don't know. His thing is very like. It's I shouldn't say it's not my thing as far as music. I mean, it's not my thing as far as music. I shouldn't say that he's not brilliant at music. It's just, there's a lot of shit on his drums. All of his tones are very short because he's trying to showcase his take on rhythm. And if your tones are long, your
It's gonna
rhythmic
muddy it
side
up.
will get lost.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
But I mean,
There's too much sizzle.
yeah, and I love sizzle, and I love tone, and I love when snares do ring out, but when you can control them.
Yeah.
I love hitting a bass
I
drum.
will say I'm a much bigger fan of like crispy hi-hats. I don't like to play on hats that are like super
Washy.
Wet. Yeah, washy.
Yeah,
Just
I hear you.
I need more crispiness.
Yeah, just
'Cause
tight, attacky,
it's
yeah.
important to me to have that, to create that.
Oh, I get
you know
it.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like washy hats when I don't have any other cymbals to use.
Yeah.
That can work.
I saw that was another thing.
something I
Watts. He literally played the whole gig with hats.
Yeah.
That was it, dude. I was like, this is a pro right here. He's like, I'm not gonna bother with any bullshit. I can get this job done here.
He's already put the cymbals away.
Yeah, exactly.
He's ready to go. Yeah, I don't know. That's my thing. I was gonna say a while ago. I'm ever since. I mean, my whole time of playing guitar, I've also been into recording. I've been into live sound. I've been into instrument tech. But I've been into recording my whole life, and I love being a recording engineer. I'm not really interested in being a mixing engineer for some reason. I like most people are way into it. They're way into taking a song full of tracks and creating something that way.
Yeah.
Whereas my whole philosophy is to make things sound good on the way in. You know,
So you don't have to do too much back end.
yeah, and there's a beauty in tracking, like just being in the studio and getting sweaty and
Well,
figure out where your room mic's gonna go.
That's what I was gonna say.
and
Shouldn't the mix be fine tuned before the recording happens? Theoretically, right?
in a way, it's as it's happening. Yeah, like while you're getting sounds.
Like, yeah, let me
Yeah.
make sure everything's,
Yeah.
where it needs to be.
That's what I think. And
It also is a very great environment for just taking those risks, like we were talking
Right.
about earlier, where you can get a little bit weird with it. And, like that was one thing that I thought was done pretty well in like the Queen biopic, where they're in the studio talking about like how do we get this weird sound? It's like, oh, let's suspend the speaker from the ceiling and like spin it around or whatever.
Well, and like Bohemian Rhapsody, they were like, we're not. This is too long. It's
Yeah.
not gonna work.
Yeah.
And it's like that
Lo and
song could
behold.
not work if it wasn't how long it has to be that
Right.
long.
oh yeah.
I think too the
It's a rock
average
opera.
the average listener doesn't know the different roles and how they're different in the studio context, because they know songwriter and they think songwriter and producer, like that's all that's necessary, when really like the producer is not the mixing engineer, the mixing engineer is not the recording engineer. Sometimes they're wearing the same hats, sometimes
Right.
the producer will be the recording engineer
Yep.
or mixing engineer, but more often than not they're separate roles.
Right.
Which once again just adds other creative influence,
Yeah.
and like those decisions are broadened to more people. It's not just the sole voice of the artist.
Right.
So
I mean, yeah, dude. But also like there's the live element of like playing something where you're like you play something and you hear the oh shit, like there's something connected here, like where you may not have you couldn't have in a studio setting because there's just nobody there to react to anything you're doing.
Sure.
But you may not know, oh, that's okay. There's which may or may not matter ultimately, but I'm like, to me, it's like it tells you there's a temperature you can get with a crowd on something.
Yeah.
But also that's part of the thing with like the Beatles, when they went those last 3 or 4 years as a band, like they're just all studio,
Right.
and they're doing crazy shit.
Oh yeah. Every time you do a pass with the band, a few passes, when you feel like you might have gotten it, you go in the control room and you listen to all of them. You probably listen to the last one you did first, but then listen to all of them and someone else is listening, usually a producer, and it's going to inform you because there was no audience there for you to take temperature off of.
Right.
There usually someone hopefully is going to be there to be like, yeah, I liked that, and everyone's like, I wasn't quite settled in to the groove at that point. And they're like, yeah, I guess you're right, but this thing you did here was kind of magic. Really? Yeah, you might not want to throw that away. We
were talking about this on a previous cast about how like that is pretty much Rick Rubin's whole success is his confidence in his taste and knowing what sounds good and what sounds bad. It's not like a technical ability thing. It's giving that feedback saying this was good. Follow whatever instinct you were feeling when you're playing that part.
Yeah, and he's good at that. He's good at creating a space for the people that do what he's not good at, which is play an instrument or sing, or to feel like they could do anything.
Yeah, I think Vic called him like a vibe curator,
Yeah.
or like
Exactly.
something to that effect. You're like, because it is like there is something too to be said about certain environments or people that creatively bring things out of you that may or not have otherwise been called upon because of this, that, or the other. That's something I try to something I always want to do here at this table is like create a space where you can just be as authentic and real. And it's like I have to have that job of being the real person to create that. So it's like there's a vibe to create here, and it's like with the same thing with I think in a studio setting. You're like, how are we? Because it's like you got to be relaxed, but you got to have like focus, and you got to have like it's kind of like this. We're doing something that's got to be. We want it to be good, but we don't want to be. We want to be loose about it. It's like there's these contrasting sort of ideas.
That's going back to Eric Johnson, how it's his whole process of making a record. It takes him years to make a record, and
he's like the Jerry Seinfeld of.
Well, he just doesn't. Yeah, he he
But I
gets hung up
appreciate
on
that.
things.
I appreciate that, and he doesn't rush the process.
Right. He doesn't rush the process. He gets hung up on things, and then the thing he's hung up on usually will end up being there'll be a solution.
Mm-hmm.
If he could have found it earlier in the process, fine, maybe, yeah. But his process takes longer in order for him to feel good about whatever the end result is.
Yeah.
And lots of people are like that in the studio. Like a lot. I think it's such a talent to be able to go into the studio and be a little bit nonchalant.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe all the stuff that could be controlled, like learning the material, creating the basic pad with recording what they're called the basics, like drums and a couple of scratched instruments, maybe a keeper bass or one keeper guitar or something. Like putting all that down and all the stuff that can be controlled in that aspect is taken care of before showing up, like rehearsing the music. And when that is good and no one's like sight reading, we're all gonna go in and knock this out of the park. It's much easier to have this nonchalant kind of loose feeling around the whole, job you have to do,
Yeah.
which can result in some really cool moments that weren't otherwise captured.
Right. Because you don't have to think about it's like those basics things that you're like, I don't have to worry about. Well, now I can kind of have a freedom in this a little bit more because I'm not like, what are the notes here again?
Right.
What how does the change go? Wait, what do we,
But I'm one to talk. Like my last released EP is 4 songs. I released it in 21 or
Okay.
22,
When are we going to
21.
get something?
now. I'm working on it. But it's 4 songs. 2 of them were recorded and mixed.
Have you done anything?
Meaning they were done being recorded in 2015. And the other 2 were recorded and mixed, meaning I was done recording those songs in 2017. And then I had them mastered 5 years later. But with me, I'm not hung up in the studio about that tone's not right or that groove's not selling. I'm just like, I'm out of money. I need to play a few more weddings and then I'll get some artwork done to release. So that's where I'm at now. I've got a lot of recordings that are at a standstill. Some of them are mixed. Some of them are ready to be mixed, and some of them I still need to do vocals on. But I've got an album's worth of stuff. Now I'm just I need to figure out, and lots of people know this, and I don't know. I don't know the right way to release music these days, and there's a lot of different opinions on that.
We're in such a strange world when it comes to how artists get their material out, because it used to be was studios and then they had an advertising budget and they would get it on radio. Yeah. But nowadays, there's services like DistroKid, CD Baby, where someone just from their bedroom, I've done it, where you just put it out. You upload it, you pay a fee, and then you're on Apple Music, you're on Spotify,
like that. Yeah,
but because that's such a common thing nowadays, it's almost oversaturated, or we just have to realize that how people enjoy music and how people are fans of musicians has radically changed. Like what we were saying earlier about how their guitars will not reach the level of success that they used to back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. It just wasn't, we're in a different world now. Yeah. So it's
we're in a different world of what guitar is.
Exactly.
Then it was kind of a new cool thing.
It was it almost was alongside skateboarding in a way, where it's ooh, this is a fresh new thing, new techniques are being invented.
It makes my parents mad.
It's gonna evolve in some way. Yeah. Because that's kind of what all forms of art do over time. And it's the evolution process. I think generally always still has the core elements. We're standing on the shoulders of giants. Kind of. So. Yeah. And then building off of that and creating the next thing that takes this to another level. Because it's the same thing applies in sports, right? It's Olympians from 100 years ago. We now have high schoolers that do the things that Olympians used to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's the best of the best from 100 years ago doesn't match the best of the best now.
People are living older as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That
living
too.
Longer.
So it's I think that it's always evolving. But I feel also with but guitar, I don't know that I agree with that. I don't know that I agree that the guitar's on the way out. I think that it might be in a transitionary period, but I feel like the standard 4-piece band or 3-piece band or whatever, I still feel like that will always have value, even if it's like it's not.
It will,
as
but it
popular.
might be niche.
Yeah,
Right.
it's not going to reach the same broad appeal like in
As
the sense,
Hendrix did.
As Hendrix, yeah. There's not going to be another Guitar Hero, I don't think.
Right.
Like,
No.
Well, until somebody comes along
Maybe
and then
not.
they make you like, what the fuck, you know?
Yeah.
Because there's like look at Reese, dude. I mean, like, do you know Reese, that kid?
I'm aware of him. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's like 18. He's a kid, dude, and he's coming up in that Stevie vein, and like that's not the young kid thing.
It's
usually.
not a new thing either.
That's what I'm saying.
When
though.
Stevie died, that was the first thing at least kids from Austin were doing.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that it's like kids even now in 2026 still go back and like he's very much, you know, indulging that.
There was a dip though when kids didn't do that.
Yeah.
right,
You
yeah.
know, 2000s and stuff.
Yeah,
you know.
well, fucking Fallout Boy.
Right. That was the problem.
Dude, bro. No, but it's
Yeah,
definitely
it's not that there won't be like amazing guitar players. In fact, I think there will be more guitar players that like way surpass like the guitar heroes that we knew
The
before.
skill level is going to keep
Yes,
going up.
that will happen. But in terms of the audience finding those and like the audience appeal on that large scale, like it's like we're not in the same world anymore, really. And I think a part of that does have to do with like that oversaturation of music where they're like everybody can put music out nowadays.
And it sucks too because like when we were kids, bro, you know, if you were bored, you didn't have a fucking phone
No.
to get on and waste hours and hours of your life. You picked up a fucking guitar and you started playing.
Yeah.
That's literally the only thing you had to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And if you didn't play guitar, you
Well, you-
went
whatever-
outside and played.
Yeah.
With your friend, you skateboarded, you ride
you
bikes.
did
I feel
activities.
Like that doesn't happen.
Yeah. I mean, and
anymore.
it's these things have destroyed our like humanity in so many ways because we're like we're so engulfed in this fake digital world that really when we're in the real world, it's like that people treat it that fake world as more real
as having more
than
weight,
actual real.
because you see like we're seeing like the first generation of like iPad kids, as like a lot of people like to say,
Like screen time?
Screen time, yeah, just people like kids that were on a device at a very early age, and recently people have been noting like kids are they're more afraid of being cringe or being embarrassing than they ever were.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the feeling of like, I don't want to be caught on camera being cringe.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
rather
like-
than just taking a chance and sucking at something. My
Yeah.
favorite quote is like the first step towards being sort of good at something is sucking at something.
Yeah.
Hey, you need to know what it feels like for 2 million people to not think you're good.
Speaking from experience. Yeah.
Bro, no, but I mean, I think that the artistic defeats, it's like it really is one of the things that it's like those that are meant to be here will be here because
Right.
you're gonna go through shit. You're gonna like whatever it is, and if it's not trendy or whatever, it's like if you think this is I should only play an instrument because it's the trendy thing.
It'll be weeded out.
Yeah, and so like I still feel like the cream rises, and like you will see those that really are committed to the cause, and I think guys like that kid, like Reese, we love that kid. Like he's that next generation.
I just
you
saw
know?
him the other day. He's doing great. And
Yeah.
we were just shooting the shit. And
Is he living here?
no, he goes in like back and forth between.
He's Canadian.
Is he?
He's going out for the hockey team. I don't know what that was.
I had
No,
no
he's
idea
not.
he was
Our
Canadian.
guy living in
I haven't-
Canada, eh?
I've only heard him speak a few times, and I did not.
Him
think
and
Canada.
Nico Little. Do you know Nico?
I know
you met
about
Nico?
him. No.
So he's playing with Nico, those two together, which I think actually Nico's got like a great, like he's got a great energy about him, like as a front man kind of, just like you see, and I do think that's part of it, like
He's tapped into that performer energy that we were talking about, being able to not just be a good singer and player, but like performing to an audience.
yeah.
delivering
Well,
that
and then
kinda
like
energy.
having Reese with him, it's like he's his own character, and he's like very much his, you watch him, you look at him, he reminds you of those guys like the Jimmy or Stevie or whatever, even just in like his attire, the way he presents, and it's like I think it's a good match for those two together because it's like, yeah, I don't know, there's like a lot of a lot of bullshit out there, and it's harder to find the good shit nowadays, I think. So that's like where
Yeah, the water's a little muddier for sure.
When I see someone with a black guitar strap with white musical notes on it, I'm immediately triggered, and I think of it makes me feel things about when I saw other SRV wannabes kind of start coming up, but so that was like maybe an initial reaction when I first saw even a photo of Reese.
yeah.
But then I heard him speak, maybe on this cast. I can't remember. But he talked about Jimmy Vaughn,
Yeah.
and that's when I got respect for him,
Nice.
because he recognizes that Stevie will play everything he knows, and he knows a lot. He knew a lot. You know, he was my first guitar influence. He was the first guitar player I was obsessed with. I can't say bad things about Stevie. Saying that being said, he played everything he knew, and his brother Jimmy played a fraction of what he knew. He only played what he thought should have been played in that moment. Not that Stevie was trying to win anybody over. That's just what he. I mean, Stevie had there was a quote that he said.
Stevie was Joel Turcotte.
I wouldn't compare those two. But Stevie had a quote that was, I play, what did he say? He said, I play thick strings, tune down, and floor it. And then the tag of it is floor it. That's an industry term. But he does. That's what he does. He's a race car driver. I mean, Jimmy Vaughn is kind of a car service.
Yeah.
You know, he's got a black suit and sunglasses, and he gets you there in style and safely.
Yeah.
And
It's like a nice SUV.
Yeah, exactly. Stevie's a performance driver, and it's really exhilarating to watch and listen to, and there's an art to that.
Yeah. I think that kid Reese too, dude. He's an old soul for sure.
Yeah,
he
that's how
comes across.
That's
very,
how I could tell by what he was saying about Jimmy.
Yeah.
Yeah, a
and
lot
recognizing that.
of people see him, especially online, as like that Stevie copycat, like wanting to be him. But after talking to him, you realize that he loves music, and especially music history and the people who laid the bricks.
He's got
to the
that
point where he
reverence.
just gets engulfed by it. And like if you talk to him about it, like he really knows. Like he's talked to
knows his
like
shit.
amazing people. He just like he's earned the ability to to look like Stevie.
I
or
saw,
like to take
I saw
after him.
Gary's brought him up on stage too a couple times, I think,
Very
like on
cool.
some stuff. I was
Very
like,
cool.
see, that's where I'm like, I love that. But it's like, that's what gives me faith in the next generation is kids like him, you know, where I'm like, all right, maybe we're not
No, we're not
totally lost,
doomed.
Yeah.
as long as we and approved like with the proper respect levels for the ones that came before, and he embodies that, I think. So it's the arrogant asses that you're like, all right, dude. Like,
Does he sing?
I don't think he does.
No,
He
I don't
needs-
think so.
He
no.
needs to sing.
It'd be cool, yeah. He doesn't have that.
You hear that,
the
Reese?
frontman energy like that. That's why I think him and Nico do so well because, like Reese, he is a bit of like a shyer dude when you
Right.
talk to him, but like
Well, he
him
lets his
and
playing
Nico,
do the
Yeah, he
talking,
lets
usually.
his playing do the talking 100% of the time. So
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, but another man who lets us play and do the talking, Dave Scher, bro. I think Kai's getting ready to bring us out because we're almost out of time here.
Of
we're a
course.
little
Bro,
over 2 hours here.
Sorry.
We'll get the edit. We'll cut out a little. We're fine.
You guys are fun.
Dude. Yeah,
Well, appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, I was gonna say too. Like, do you have anything? I mean, obviously we're on Kill Tony here, but I mean, like, do you have anything coming up that you're excited about that worth mentioning?
When is this airing?
It'll be
This is
Friday.
this week. We're yeah.
Sort of. Not really. I mean, before this is out, I'll be opening for Spice and Roy tomorrow.
Okay. Is that gonna? Are you gonna be with them on Wednesdays for the residency?
No.
Or just this one?
I'm not. I was going to be with them. I've kind of
I guess
told
they have
them-
Matt typically. Is he
Well,
their-
Matt and I both do it together, but
Yeah.
like a lot of times they have two guitars.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that they're gonna have Adam second guitar because I work all the time.
Yeah.
and I'm in dire need of some sleep. And so also I just I don't want to open. Montez is good at this. I'm not really good at this. I
Yeah.
don't want to open the show with my thing and then do what I normally do, which is be a sideman.
Yeah.
So I'd rather kind of have the night off, you know, as far as when they start.
Yeah.
So I won't be playing with them. I'll be opening with
Okay.
my trio
Well,
before them,
and
and that'll be fun.
Where Jennifer might be, you'll probably be generally with her still, right?
Yeah.
If she's playing the Audacity, because you play with a
Yeah.
lot of people.
Yeah.
So
My thing is June 17th. It's a free show, Saxon Pub.
okay, dude, let's put that on our calendar, Kai.
Check it out.
June 17th. Well,
Wednesday,
dude,
the
yeah, we
17th.
appreciate you. One of these days, we'll have to have you back with Eric so I can ask him about Bill Hicks opening for him. Because I want to hear that story.
Have you
Bro,
ever
thank you,
heard
Dave
this?
Scher, bro. Appreciate
man.
you, man.
You have. Listen.